Good morning. Yes. So yesterday we had stopped at which concept? I guess it was a very important concept, huh? How to calculate free cash flows, and I guess yesterday's concept of cash flows, free cash flows especially, was very important. And if you were to quickly revise what we did yesterday we talked about few concepts like depreciation and amortization. Correct. So what is depreciation and amortization? What is the common meaning? It deals with reduction in the value of the asset. Correct. Both deal with reduction in value, but then what is the difference between depreciation and amortization? Depreciation is for tangible assets and amortization is for intangible assets. Finally, whenever I talk about depreciation or amortization, do I have to pay depreciation to anyone? No. So is it like an example of non-cash item? Yes. Okay, so what did we do yesterday? Just one item I explained from the annual report. That was your cash flow from operating activities. And in cash flow from operating activities, what we did was we started with profit, correct? And in profit we added back something. What did we add back? We added back depreciation. Why? Because profit is what we have derived after deducting depreciation. But if you were to calculate how much is my cash flow, to understand the cash flow, so just as an example, if my yesterday we had done this example, but once again, sales is, let us say, 100, my total cost is 60, and let us say my earnings before interest, tax, depreciation and amortization is 40. Then what do I deduct? Depreciation and amortization. Let us say it is 10. What am I left with? Earning before interest and tax, that is 30. What do we deduct? Interest. What do we get? Earnings before tax. Okay, this is also known as PBT. PBT क्या रहेगा? PBT, profit before tax. And then what will we deduct? Tax. Let us say this is 30%. So 14. And what do we get? PAT. And what is PAT? Profit after tax. Simple. I hope now this format is very much clear into your mind. You want to write this? Okay. One minute before you write this, just quickly tell me if I assume, okay, if I'm assuming that all transactions are in cash. So all means sales, cost, interest, tax. All tick mark wale transactions are in cash. Then what will happen? Tell me. Who can tell me how much is my cash flow from operating activities? कितना रहेगा? How much will be my cash flow? Cash flow from operating activities? 24. And how did you get 24? We'll have to add back depreciation and amortization. Finally, what do we have with us? 14. We have 14 with us. That is our profit. Profit is 14. But to get this 14, we have deducted depreciation and amortization of 10 rupees. Have I paid this cash to anyone? No. So what will I do? I'll add back. So I'll add back what? Depreciation and amortization. And how much is that? 10. So tell me how much is my cash flow from operation? That will be 24. Now I guess distinction between profit and cash flow is also clear now. Is this okay? Still some confusion? Oh, you have missed the class yesterday. चेहरे से ही समझ में आ गया कि full bouncer है. But others, those who were there with me, yes. एक बार लिख लो, लिखते लिखते just try to grasp it one more time. Still, if you have some doubt, we'll try to clarify that. This one? I'll explain one more time. See, sales is 100. What is my assumption? Assumption is that all transactions are in cash. Okay. So assume that my sale, so just imagine like this, I sold something to you and you gave me 100 rupees. Something like that. Then cost is what I paid to my supplier. Assume I paid 60 rupees to my supplier. So what is my basic earning before interest, tax, depreciation, amortization? Is 40. 100 minus 60. This is simple. Okay, 40. Now from earnings before interest, tax, depreciation and amortization, what am I deducting? Depreciation and amortization. So I'm left with EBIT, that is 30. Earning before interest and tax, this is 30. Now what do I deduct from this? Interest. Okay, so what am I left with? Earning before tax. So please understand this very basic point, that this cost which I am deducting, this cost is just like my operating cost, raw material cost, labor payment. This cost does not include interest. This cost does not include depreciation. Okay, that is why we are deducting it separately. Okay, so we deduct interest 10 rupees. What we are left with is 30 minus 10 is 20. From this 20 I will deduct tax 30%. We are left with 14. Achha, if you have a doubt as to why this is 10, this is just an example. 6 rupees, this is tax. Just below EBIT. Oh, this is interest. I have a beautiful handwriting, na? That is why. And why interest is 10 is just a random figure that I have taken. Huh? There is no calculation for this 10 rupees interest. You should have a very clear image of this pillar of what we are talking about: sales, cost, EBITDA, depreciation, amortization. Because you will have many formulas, many ratios, few which talk about PAT to be taken in the numerator or denominator. Some take PBT in the numerator or denominator. Some take EBITDA, some take EBIT. So you should know exactly what is the difference between what. Right. Acha, one more very important point. This EBIT, rupees 30. EBIT is also known as operating profit. You can write it down somewhere. EBIT is also known as operating profit. Is this okay? Yes. Operating profit. Yes. Is this fit into your mind? EBITDA ka full form. It's earning before interest, tax, depreciation and amortization. Chalo, you have to revise it one more time for me. You have to tell me what would be the sequence. Anyone wants to try? Don't look into the notes. First, you will have, हाँ आप ही try करो. ये same pillar जो अभी हमने बनाया, अभी जो मैंने लिखा के दिया. You can try to revise it. What was that? First we have, एकदम on the top we have sales, right? From sales what do we deduct? Basic cost. Achha, what is this cost? What does this include? Your raw materials, your labor payments, your advertisement expenses, telephone expenses, wages, all these operations for what you require for your basic operations. These are deducted from here. Okay. Then what are we left with? Earnings before interest, tax, depreciation and amortization. Okay. From this, acha. From this what do we deduct? DA is what? Depreciation and amortization. What are we left with? EBIT. earning before interest and tax. What is this known as? Operating profit. Can you think about why is it known as operating profit? Can I say this is the profit that I'm generating from my core operations again? Okay, what do we mean by core operations? What will this cost include? One more time, tell me. What will this cost include? Operating costs like what? Material. No, you can't say machinery. Machinery is your asset. Machinery is your asset, and depreciation on the asset is your expenditure. That will come here, depreciation and amortization. Okay, so your material, your labor payment, then your transportation, salary, advertisement, other admin expenses. Can I say these are all the expenses that are required to run my business, right? So what I get is EBITDA. From that I deduct what? Depreciation and amortization. Why am I deducting depreciation? Is it like my cost only? Why is it my cost? Because my value of asset is reducing. So can I say this profit, EBIT, earning before interest and tax, is my profit from core operations? Correct? Now please understand, from here I am deducting only 2 points. Which 2 points? From here I am deducting what? Number 1, interest. What am I left with? Earning before tax, also known as profit before tax. And then what do I deduct? Tax. And what am I left with? Profit after tax. Okay till here. Now why am I calling that as operating profit? Let us understand. If I were to compare two companies, company A and B, let us assume this, company A and company B. Okay, assume that दोनों का sale is 100, दोनों का cost is 40. For both EBITDA will be 60. Assume that depreciation amortization for both is 10. So these figures are random figures again. What is my earning before interest and tax? 50. Now what has happened is that A company is like a debt-free company. So interest will be 0. Debt-free company, na? So interest will be 0. And B has its major funding from interest, from debt. Okay, money required for the business. They have taken more from loan. If you remember, they have taken more loan funds rather than own funds. A lot of debt they have. So will you have a good amount of interest here? Yes. So assume, let us say interest is 20. Again 20, random figure. Okay. What is earning before tax? 50 and 30. What is tax? 30%. For companies it is 30% tax. Always. 15 and 9. 35 and 21. Tell me which company is better, A or B? A is better. Why? So now your analogy is different. So if you had not attended this lecture, so think that you are in day 1 of your lecture. It's our first day of fundamental analysis series. Just assume this. And if I told you that company A is making profit of 35, company B is making a profit of 21, which company is better? So you would have easily said 35, A company is better because profit is more than this profit. But do you really think we should compare these two profits or we should compare these two profits? Should you compare PAT or should you compare EBIT? PAT? PAT will give you a final picture, agreed. PAT will definitely give you a final picture. But assume that within 2 to 3 years, okay, I'll give you one more example. Let me just double the figures for B. Let us say this is 200, this will be 80, this will be 120. Everyone agrees? Depreciation amortization is 10 only. So here it will be 110. Depreciation amortization is 110. Interest is 20. This will be 90. This will be 30% will be 27, and this will be 63, na? Okay. Now what you might understand is that, so technically speaking, you might say that, okay, this is doing better than A. But don't compare directly, na? Because your turnover is how much? 100. Your turnover is 200. Okay. So it's a direct double of this. Correct? So ideally EBIT should have been a double of this. EBIT should have been, in our example, it should have been, number, tell me the number. It should have been 100. And what is the number? 110. Na? Number is 110. Why? This depreciation is a fixed cost. This did not double. With the same level of depreciation, I was able to earn a little bit more. Okay. Now assume that it has, again, this major cost which was, I mean, your profit decreased, agreed, but it was only because of interest element. Assume that in the coming future they repay the debt. They repay the debt. So this interest will be 0. So in that case the profit will be 110. Okay. This tax will be 33 roughly, na? This will be 77. And now if you again check, 100 ka 200 is double, 35 ka double is 70, but this is actually 77. Okay, so don't compare PAT directly. Ideally what you should be comparing is your operating profit, and operating profit is your EBIT. See, finally what happens, understand, interest is something जो आज है कल नहीं है शायद. If you repay the debt, then what? Your interest element is going to go down and down. Is it a measure of performance of the company? Please understand this. I'll dictate everything. If I ask you which company is performing better in what sense? Who is operating its business in the most efficient and effective manner? Do you think a measure PAT is correct or EBIT is correct? EBIT is operating profit. Operating profit tells you how much costs they are increasing or decreasing. How are they managing their costs? That is defined by EBIT rather than PAT. Because PAT के यहाँ पे या फिर even for PBT, finally interest is a big element that is a decider. And if interest is gone, the picture might totally change. So if you want to analyze a company from its operating perspective, which is a better ratio? What is a better figure? EBIT is a better figure. And believe it or not, in all important ratios which deal with profitability, किसने कितना कमाया, for that majority of the ratios, for understanding the operating competitiveness, we will be checking out EBIT. Okay, now I'll tell you the most unfortunate part. This format I'm sure is fit into everyone's mind now, but this is not the format of P&L. Profit and loss account format is a little bit different. Okay, the figures will be a little bit up and down, but finally we boil down to the same thing. So to understand how much is EBIT, we'll have to calculate EBIT. It is not directly available in the P&L. If you want to check how much is EBITDA, we'll have to calculate EBITDA. It's not directly given in the P&L. I really feel that it should be a part of, maybe अपने को थोड़ा काम ज़्यादा करना पड़ेगा इसके लिए होगा वो. I don't know why it is not given. Even I fail to understand. Ideally, if this is there in the P&L, it will be so easy for analysts also to directly calculate. But अपने यहाँ पे कैसे थोड़ा काम करवाते हैं ना analysts से. So that is why maybe this format does not hold true for any profit and loss account for the company. Okay, so with this format, we are going to talk about a very, very, very important ratio today, which is known as ROCE. What is ROCE? Return on capital employed. If you can repeat this, what is ROCE? Return on capital employed. So if you can just write down ROCE. About what? Huh. So why this figure is important? Is that what you want to check? Yes. So I'll give you one more simple example. Like I'm talking about your sales is 100. I'm giving a very similar example. Huh? Sales is 100 for company A as well as company B. Your operating costs, let me say, is 40% for both. Then finally 60. Achha, I'll take a little bit different example. Let us say this is 30. Huh? So to understand this concept better, I'll change a little bit. See, finally company A and company B need not have EBITDA as same. Okay, so this is 60, this is 70. Then what do we deduct? Depreciation and amortization. Let this be same. So it will come down to, what will be my EBIT, everyone? EBIT will be 50 and 60. What is interest element? Assume that this is a debt-free company, so 0. And for B, assume it is 20. Now maybe you'll understand it in a better way. Let me just zoom it out a little bit. Okay, and tell me finally what is my earning before tax or profit before tax? 50 and 40. My tax is 30%, so 15 and 12. What is my profit after tax? 35 and 28. Everyone just have a good look at company A's and companies B's performance. I'll wait for a minute if you want. And you have to tell me which company is better, whether it is company A or company B. According to you, it is company A. Okay, I'll ask 3-4 people. B, 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 last, A. Good. So whenever I get a mix, I feel very nice. Now let us understand. For a layman, okay, if you have not done a lot of financial analysis, for anyone, A will be better. Why? A has more profit, that is why A is better. For any person who has not done financial analysis to a good level, A would be ideally better. But wait, understand. What is the important measure of the managing function of the company? How are they managing their business? How are they controlling their basic costs? What is the important figure? That is operating profits. See, for B, operating cost is 30 and for A, operating cost is 40. So ideally, can I say B can run the show with a little bit of lower costs? Okay, so in simple words, can I say B's management is a little bit more efficient as compared to A? Do you agree with me? B's management is more efficient than A's management. That is why to get a 100 rupee sale, they are managing the show in 30 rupees, and A's management, to get a sale of 100, they are managing the show in 40 rupees. So EBITDA is 60 and 70. Depreciation amortization is 10. What is this figure? I've told you many times. One more time, repeat it for me. This is operating profit. Okay. Operating profit is 50 and 60. Now, can I say B's performance is definitely better as compared to A? Their core operations are earning more revenue as compared to A. Then why did we say A is better? 1, 2, you said A is better. Why? Because their final profitability is more. Wait, now let us take this change in case. See, ideally they're earning more operating profit. So at some point of time they'll have more money. If they have more money, will they repay the debt? Will they repay the debt? Yes. If they repay the debt, what will happen? Their interest will be gone down. So let me now take a revised position. This is, now let us say 0. Now the fresh EBT will be 60. Their tax will be 18. And this will be 42. So in the coming future, B is going to do better ideally as compared to A. Okay. But can we check this out as a standalone, or there is one more important ratio that we should check before deciding that B is good or bad? And what is an important ratio? If you remember, we have discussed about this debt to equity ratio. If for B, debt to equity ratio is, let us say, 10:1 for B, should I even think about B? No, it is overburdened with debt. What happens, understand, the moment your top line is affected, top line समझते हैं, top line मतलब sales, the moment your sales is affected, the entire pillar tumbles. Correct? Because this interest was your fixed cost, wasn't it? This 20 rupees was your fixed cost. Can the bank say, "Arey, this year you have made loss, na? Don't pay interest"? Will bank say this? No, you have to pay this 20 rupees come what may. So let us say there is a bad scenario where their sales directly goes down to 50% for B. Now let us understand the fresh figures quickly. New scenario for B. Something terrible happened with the company and their sales dropped by half, 50%. So this goes down to 50. Operating costs were 30%. So tell me here it will be? Yes? Now these operating costs I'm talking about could be like material cost. Of course, salary is a little bit fixed element, but assuming that salary is a little bit variable to the, let us say wages is a major element. Labor logon ka payment will be more based on production. Na? Yes. So we are assuming that there are major variable costs which vary with the production. Can I say electricity is also like variable cost only? More the production, more is the electricity bill. Lesser the production, lesser will be the electricity bill. Okay. But these operating costs, if you remember, we had also taken advertisements. That is going to be a little bit not directly related to production. Achha, what about transportation costs? Can I say will be a little bit related to production? Why? Higher your production, higher will be your transportation cost, na? Raw material lana, finished goods bechna. So your transportation cost is also going to be linked with your production. But there are few elements like salary which might not be directly proportional to your production. Can you tell your employees this month na our production is down, so you'll get that much salary only, 30% salary only? We can't say that to our employees. It has to be kept constant at some level. Okay, so we may say that ideally iska 30% is operating cost, let us say. So iska 30% will come to 15, but let us take it a little bit higher to 20. Why did I take it to 20? Because there is some element of fixed cost. Now I can't take it proportionally down to 30 by 30%. Is this okay? Have you understood the logic? Yes. So tell me, what is my EBITDA? 30. What is my depreciation amortization? Is this a fixed cost? Yes, depreciation is going to remain same come what may. Okay, will we reduce the depreciation just because our sales is less? Value of asset utna hi kam hone wala hai. Okay, now what do we go at? 20. What is the interest cost? 20 gone. Are you getting my point? So what went wrong? Their debt was very high. That is why this problem happened. So whenever debt is very high, what is the biggest threat? Your sales numbers crash and you are out. Okay, so what is very important, if you are checking out any specific company, let me repeat, rather than PAT, you could check EBIT, which is your operating profit from your core operations, how much you are getting, but don't check this as a standalone ratio. Always compare it with one more ratio. And what is that one more ratio? No, one more ratio is your debt to equity. If this is not very high, what was our maximum, tell me? 2:1. Assume this is 2:1. Still can I go ahead with B as my final decision? Because I can see that B might grow at a higher rate as compared to A, because their operating profit is higher. समझ रहा है क्या analysis? Sinking down or not? Little bit. थोड़ा. हाँ, exactly. You will get it with more and more of practice for sure. This is not, see, had this been so easy, then everybody would have done it immediately, na? Within few seconds. Okay, but I feel still you should be in a position to get it with more and more practice. Maybe I can just take a last and a quick example. Let me see, for those who have understood, at least you can think immediately or not. Last example, a very quick example, no? Sales, operating costs, EBITDA, then depreciation, amortization, then operating profit, then interest, then EBT, then tax, then EAT, या फिर PAT. See, only with 3 or 4 times of repetition. Now this was very easy. When I discussed this for the first time today, you were like, बाप रे, किसकी बात क्या आ रहा है? And now just by repeating this for the 3rd or 4th time, everyone is getting it into your mind very easily. So quickly tell me, company A and company B, two different companies. Sales is 100 and 100. Operating cost, to achieve this 100 rupees sale, focus, to achieve this 100 rupees sale, A incurs 40 rupees, B incurs 30 rupees. EBITDA is 60 and 70. Depreciation 10 for both. EBIT is 50 and 60. A, our assumption was what? It's a debt-free company. Here we are assuming debt, 20 rupees. What is EBT? 50 and 40. Tax was 15 and 12. 35 and 28. Just by looking at PAT, A was better. But don't think about today. In fundamental analysis, we have to think about what will happen tomorrow. That is fundamental analysis. Don't analyze only current year's financial statements. See, if you are understanding only current year's financial statements, that value is already there for that share. एक आध share का जो valuation है, whatever current market price the company is having, that is based on current year's financials. If you are not able to look forward, what will happen after 2 years? What will happen after 3 years? What will happen after 5 years? If you are not able to predict what would be the moment in the future based on this year's financials, then it's of no use. Okay, so what is the prediction? What is the analysis? Analysis is that operating profit is higher for everyone. Operating profit is higher for B. So ideally B should be in a position to generate more profits in the coming days. If they are able to generate more profits in the coming days, then their interest cost is going to go down. If their interest cost goes down, their PAT will eventually rise. And that is why ideally B should be a better investment as compared to A. B should ideally give me more returns as compared to A. Yes, now I can see that smile on many faces. Now it's better. Correct? Can we go on now? Yes, we are on a very important ratio, that is ROCE, return on capital employed. Write down. It is calculated as ROCE, return on capital employed. It is calculated as EBIT divided by capital employed multiplied by 100. EBIT is what? Earning before interest tax divided by capital employed multiplied by 100. Now we must know what is capital employed. What is capital? Tell me. What was our capital? To run the business. Whatever main funds we have raised to run the business. And if you remember, I can run the business with 2 types of funds. Own funds, loan funds. So my total capital employed could be a combination of loan funds, own funds, matlab equity and debt. So in simple words, how will I calculate capital employed? Tell me. So can I say shareholders funds? How did we calculate shareholders funds? It's given in the balance sheet, but shareholders funds includes majorly 2 things: your equity capital plus your reserves and surplus. It's given in the balance sheet, shareholders funds. And plus what do we add for capital employed? No. So we add a long-term debt, the main loan that we have taken. So long-term debt is your non-current liability. That is major component should be your loans or debentures that you have raised for your business. So if you want to write down what is capital employed, it is shareholders funds plus non-current liabilities, typically into bracket loans and debentures. Capital is generally the initial funds, but if you remember, I told you a follow-on public offer for expansion. See, capital is like the core fund of the business. That is capital. Now, who can tell me what is this ratio actually telling me? What is the interpretation of this ratio? If I say for company A versus company B, my ROCE here is 8% and here it is 12%. You are getting a 12% return on the capital employed by you. Is this okay? 5% and 6%. Which company is better, A or B? B. So in simple words, can I say, if I've invested 100 rupees in A, I'm going to get a return of 5 as the operating profit. But in B, I'm going to get a return of 6 as an operating profit. Correct. Wait. Would you invest in A or B or none of the above? कितना invest किया उसके ऊपर है. Okay. So now I'll tell you that, okay, this is my personal opinion. I'm assuming that A has been running for, A is in business for last, let us say 9 to 10 years. B is also in the business for last 9 to 10 years. Is my presumption. Then I will say I will invest in none. Neither A nor B. Why? Exactly. यार 10 साल हो गए. They are in the business for last 10 years and still they are able to generate a return of only 6%. Better I keep my money in FD. Or better I keep money in some mutual fund, in some other companies, or any other investment avenue for that matter. Debenture, now you are coming to the point, debenture, right? So why do I invest in this company then? So there is no thumb rule, like for debt to equity we are 2:1, current ratio we are 2:1. But I personally feel that ROCE, if it is less than 10%, I generally avoid such companies, and presuming that they are in business for at least 4 to 5 years. See, generally if you are talking about listed companies, they are in existence for already 4 to 5 years, roughly 3 years तो minimum होना ही चाहिए, तभी ये list हो सकती है exchange पे. That is the rule of SEBI, that you have to be in existence for 3 years, then you can go in for listing. So you are in 3 to 5 years for business, and how much return you are earning? 2%, 3%? Makes no sense. Okay, so if you are an established company, I personally feel, see, I'm risking my capital. As an investor, I'm risking my capital. I should be getting at least 10%, na? Then only it makes sense. So my thumb rule is that ROCE should be greater than 10. Okay, everyone can have their own parameter, but I hope you find logic in this parameter. Absolutely, it may go up, it may go down. So that is why analysis is required on a continuous basis. You can't say that एक बार मैंने देख लिया, मेरा काम खत्म, अब सिर्फ पैसा आना चाहिए. That will not happen. You'll have to do a continuous analysis. Is this okay? ROC is absolutely clear. And now the bigger problem is that how do I do an analysis of so many things? Till now we have talked about how many number of parameters. If we can just check one by one. First we talked about what? Okay, so now I'll tell you. ये भी over 8 points. I'm again focusing 8 points. Is what basic you have to check. Okay. We'll just check this out. एक तो हमने देखा current ratio. Current ratio के लिए हमने क्या बोला था? Current assets divided by current liabilities. We talked about current ratio. Then we talked about what? Debt to equity ratio. Today we talked about what? ROCE. What is ROCE? return on capital employed. Correct? Fourth parameter, which was a very important parameter that we checked yesterday, was your free cash flows. Then one more parameter we talked about was shareholding pattern, and in which we mainly focused on what pledged shares kuch hai kya. Okay. After this, we are going to talk about one more important parameter right away, which is your inventory turnover ratio. Inventory turnover ratio. Maybe I'm missing out on something. It's what I'm feeling. ठीक है, I do have it saved on my laptop. Inventory turnover ratio तो हम check करेंगे ही करेंगे, no doubt about that. Plus, there are two more parameters which I always put. So now we are going to have a look at all these. Shall we just quickly finish off inventory turnover ratio first, and then we'll go to our 8-pointer parameters. Okay, huh? Okay, 1 minute. I just remembered. We talked about reserves. Reserves and surplus is to capital. We compared it with capital, na? So capital is how much money I've put in the business, and reserves and surplus is what I'm getting back from the business. Or even we talked about the trend of reserves and surplus, whether it is increasing or whether it is decreasing. Correct? And there is one more 8th point which I now remembered, is the PE element, price to earning ratio. So we are left with only two, na? We are left with price to earning, and we are left with inventory turnover. Okay. So what we'll do is, I'll tell you these two, and then I'll tell you one amazing website. क्या मजा आएगा if I can just put that run a query. So it's like a software wherein I can run a query. Show me those companies. You do the analysis. Show me the companies wherein I get a company which has current ratio of 2:1 or greater than 2:1, debt to equity less than 2:1, ROCE greater than 10. I'll have to define, na? Free cash flow should be positive greater than 0. Shareholding pattern, pledge shares 0, no pledge shares. Inventory turnover ratios depends. I'll tell you what is inventory turnover ratio. Reserves and surplus should be greater than 0. It should be at least it should be more than 0, no? That's the minimum requirement. And PE, again I'll tell you what is PE and industry. So if I just run this query and if I get a list, wow, my work will be so easy. And there is a website which is known as www.screener.in. www.screener.in. You can run loads of queries on this, and life becomes really easy for analysis. That's how I do my analysis. I'll tell you, sometimes I feel that the figures are a little bit different, because those who don't know how to calculate ratios, for them they take these ratios at face value. मतलब जो ratio उन्होंने बताया वो ले लिया, खत्म. But I'll tell you, even their ratios are a little bit different from money control. Sometimes this happens. If I calculate the ratios by myself through balance sheets, still there is a slight difference. Acha, slight difference is, for people it's slight difference. So like I can say it's only 0.2. But rupees in crores, hai na? 0.2% difference will also be a big one. Okay. But then I say, see, finally, why am I using this screener? Just to filter. Once I get a list, then I do analysis properly, one by one. Okay. So we are going to write down all these parameters. You want to write it down right away? Our 8-pointer parameter? Ye wala point? Or first we'll write about inventory turnover, P, and then I'll give you a proper table. First we'll deal with these two, and then I'll give you a table for that. We'll start with a very important ratio, which is PE ratio. And many people confuse in the actual application of what is PE. It actually has a double-sided meaning, PE. A high PE might be good also, a high PE might be bad also. A low PE can be good, a low PE can be bad. It's about how you interpret it. Okay, so first let us write down what is PE. PE ratio. PE ratio, write down. It is calculated as market price per share divided by earnings per share market price per share divided by earnings per share. So how do we get market price per share? Current market price, which is there on Money Control or any website like that. Okay, and first let us understand what is this earning per share. It's a very simple parameter. See, if I show this to you, tell me what was my final earning for A, 35, for B, 42. That is my earning. But this is the total earning. See, earning means what? PAT. Because if you remember, I told you, na, PAT or EAT. I might have written somewhere. I always write PAT or EAT. EAT क्या है? Earning after tax. What is PAT? Profit after tax. So my final earning in this example is 35 and 63, let us say. Now again understand the analysis part, okay? Assume that, I know it's a very small figure, but assume that company A has only 10 shares. Just for analysis purpose. Company A has 10 shares. So number of shares that the company has is 10. Okay, acha, in our original example, which company was better, by the way? A or B? B was better because A was earning how much? 35. B was earning 63. Now let us understand, if I say that total number of shares that this company has is, let us say, 10, and B company has total 30 shares. B has total 30 shares. What is my earning per share? This is the total earning. Correct, na? This is the total earning. Tell me how much is my earning per share? 3.5 and 2 point whatever. 2.1, let us say. Which company is better? Now A will be better. Correct, na? Because earning per share is more for A as compared to B. In simple words. Achha, I'm assuming that the face value is same for a direct purpose. Okay. So in simple words, what does this mean? With, you know what is the face value, no, by the way? Face value is the main value which is written on the face of the share certificate. That is a face value. So face value is decided by the promoters of the company. So assume that for A and for B, face value is 10 rupees only. Assume. Okay. Now everyone pay attention, a very important point coming up. Tell me, to earn this 35 rupees, how much capital, assume there is no debt for both companies. No debt for both the companies. Okay. To earn this 35 rupees, A company had how much total share capital? Huh? Very good. 100. How did you calculate 100? Face value was 10. And how many such 10 rupees ke shares? 10. How do you calculate share capital? Face value multiplied by number of shares. So 100 रुपए के share capital के साथ this company was earning 35 rupees. And for B, what is the scenario? Tell me. You don't tell. But tell me for B, how much is share capital? 300. How 300? Number of shares multiplied by face value. So share capital for B will be 300. So what is my analysis now? Understand very carefully. With 100 rupees of capital, A is in a position to earn 35, and with 300 rupees of capital, B is able to earn 63 only. Are you getting me? I'll repeat one more time. I hope you are getting this. With 100 rupees of capital, A was able to earn how much? 35. And for B, with 300 rupees of capital, they were able to earn only 63. So who is operating more efficiently? It's actually A which is operating more efficiently. Why? Let us understand. Agar A को भी instead of 100, if we give 300 capital, so उनके पास ज़्यादा पैसा गया. Can they invest more into plant and machinery? More plant and machinery, more resources, more turnover. So ideally, simple 8th standard ratio analysis. With 100 rupees of capital, if A is able to earn an earnings of 35, with 300 of capital, how much can they earn? Simple, na? So it will be how much? 105. Correct. And now compare B and A. Who is better? A is better. Are you getting my point? Yes. Now analysis is becoming real analysis. So that's why I always tell, don't look at only one parameter and decide. What is one parameter to decide? EBIT. किसको operating profit ज़्यादा है? Understand this. A, B. A का operating profit is 100, B का operating profit is 200. Clearly, who is the winner? B is the clear winner because they are earning more operating profit. But then if I say that capital employed is 1000 and capital employed is 5000. Capital employed, how much to earn this 100 rupees, how much money they were required to put in the business? For A it was 1000 and for B it was 5000. So again, see, I have to make these A and B comparable, na? To make comparable, I have to compare their capital. Again, it's standard ratio analysis. For 1000 of capital, A is earning 100. If they receive 5000 capital, how much can be their EBIT? Basic math, it will be 500. And now compare 500 with 200. Then I can say A is better. Okay. ये सब पूरे झमेले में क्या कर रहे हैं हम? We are calculating only one ratio, and that is ROCE. That's what we are calculating right now. Return on capital employed. Acha, by the way, in my example, it's debt is 0, is my assumption, to make simplicity of calculations. Debt जितना आएगा वो भी add up हो जाएगा in the capital. Are you getting my point? So are you going to check only operating profit, or you are also going to check operating profit plus ROCE? See, that's how we give points ना. मैंने बोला ना 8 में से point देंगे जिसके ज़्यादा point आए. I feel that is a better company. करता है कहा? Okay. So if I look only at one parameter, EBIT, then who would have been the winner? B would have been the winner. But I can't compare operating profit directly. I'll have to check to generate this profit, how much money was invested in it. And if I'm comparing this, which ratio am I coming down to? I'm coming down to the ratio of ROCE only, return on capital employed. Is this okay now? Yes? Huh? Now let us again move on to PE ratio. Why did we jump here? Because to calculate this, we talked about how much is earning per share. We jumped to this because we were calculating earning per share. So one last time. How much is earning? 35. How much is earning? 63. What is this earning? PAT. PAT क्या है? Profit after tax is 35 and 63. How much are the number of shares? 10 and 30. Different number of shares. So how much is EPS? 35. Sorry, 3.5 and 2.1. So who is having a better EPS? A. A is having a better EPS. Why did we calculate EPS, by the way? Because we are talking about PE ratio. And in PE ratio, there are two parameters. One is a market price, which we can get from money control. And EPS is what we calculated right now. Earning per share. But I'll tell you, still our headache is reduced by a major chunk. Why? Can we get this figure ready-made? Earning per share? And answer is yes. Okay, this earning per share figure is very clearly given in the profit and loss account. in profit and loss account, if I go down and down and down, see here you can see basic earning per equity share is 47.63. See, there are two major concepts, basic EPS and diluted EPS. Diluted EPS is a very tricky concept, and we can ignore this for our analysis part also. This is taught in directly CA final. What is a diluted EPS? And we do have calculations on how to calculate the diluted EPS. So just forget about it right now. We are not interested in this. Okay, as an analyst, I am going to focus more on basic EPS. And how much is basic EPS? 47. Now quickly tell me, just have a look at this. Previous year ka EPS was, current year EPS is the company doing better as compared to the previous year? Yes, देखो एक second में पता चल गया अभी. Correct? What is the simple thought process behind this? Per share, एक share के पीछे company कितना कमा पाई? How much company was able to earn with one share? That is an earning per share. So now if you were to quickly write down, how do I get these two figures? The top figure, price per share, we can get from any website like Money Control, BSE India, NSE India, wherever. And where do we get earning per share? Annual report. Simple? Yes. Now I'll show you Money Control first. And there's a very nice analysis on Money Control also for PE ratio. So the calculation part is understood now, everyone, how PE ratio is calculated. But anyways, do we need to calculate it is the question now. We need not calculate it. It's readily available. Where? See, I typed out L&T. I'm on the home screen of L&T. Yes. And I'm just scrolling down and down and down. And here, standalone. Here you can see is PE is 29 rupees. Okay. And here you can see is EPS 47.59 trailing 12 months. See, I told you that thoda bahut farak rehta hai. I don't know why there's a difference, but I told you na in the beginning also that point something difference you will find. But I feel it's okay na. Itna jig karne se acha I'm getting all these, and I'm using that as a filter. If I get to know the companies, then I'll download the annual reports also. But how many annual reports to download? Can I download 100 and study all? No, it's impossible, humanly impossible. If you are full time into share market also, that is I feel nonsense. If you are downloading all 100,000 all annual reports, first put some filter and analyze few. Correct? So what are we saying? Earning per share is 47.59 and the PE, acha, by the way, you know this TTM. TTM is a trailing 12 month. Trailing 12 month is past 12 months. Past 12 months ka earning is 47.59. Okay. And what is the PE? 29. Earning per share का तो मीनिंग समझ में आया. My total earning divided by, how do we calculate it? EPS. My PAT divided by total number of shares is how I get a EPS. You want to write down this formula also? How EPS is calculated? It's very much readily available on any website, but you should know how this is calculated. Okay, so write down EPS is equal to EPS, earning per share, is equal to PAT, profit after tax, divided by what? Total number of shares. I'm not sure whether we'll be able to match this exactly or not, but we'll try it out at least. Achha, where do I get PAT? Everything on Money Control if you were to check. Financials. Okay. EPS can be negative also. Why EPS will be negative? If PAT, so see, you have 2 points in EPS. One is your profit after tax and divided by what? Total number of shares. That can't be negative. Total number of shares can't be negative. Then what will be negative? Your PAT is negative, then your EPS will be negative. then your PE will also be negative, because one parameter from the numerator or denominator, something has gone as negative. Okay? हाँ हाँ, थोड़ा अलग कंसेप्ट है, रुको रुको, आज इतने ही कंसेप्ट से थोड़ा जैमिंग चालू है आज. Okay, so first we'll go to profit and loss. So like we have a PE ratio, we have a P to BV ratio also. Price to earning is one ratio, and one is price to book value. If you are interested, we can take that ratio also. Both are very nice ratios. Okay, see here you can see your P&L account, everyone. Yes, so you have total revenue and other operating revenue. This is your total revenue. See, simplified things will do. Total revenue, okay, almost 90,000 crores. Okay, then this is your total expenses, 81,000. So this is your basic profit before your exceptional and extraordinary items. You remember this? Yesterday we had talked about an exceptional item or an extraordinary item. In some, I guess Reliance Communication, that this had come up, na? Exceptional, extraordinary item. And I discussed, see, there is a difference between what is an exceptional item and what is an extraordinary item also in accounting standards. Forget it. In simple words, what is exceptional or extraordinary? Which is something other than your routine course of business. Quickly tell me, loss by earthquake is an exceptional item. So it could happen that I'm analyzing some company, okay, or loss by tsunami. This is an exceptional or an extraordinary item, na? See, if I'm checking out some company from Tamil Nadu and assume that there was a tsunami, few years ago there was a tsunami, and uski wajah se losses have increased. But can I say it means that the company has gone bad like anything? No. Is this a recurring item? Ideally, no. It's a one-time activity, na? So can I say it's like an exceptional or extraordinary activity? Yes. So whenever I'm doing an analysis, I should ideally ignore this one, because these are just like one times or one or two times. Okay. In Reliance Communication, I guess we had some sale of asset, because of which there was a huge profit. Should I consider that company is doing very well? Wow, what a big profit. This is an exceptional item, so ignore that. Right? Yes, yes, it did. Okay, so exceptional item. Then we have what? Profit or loss before tax. What is this? EBT or PBT. Then you have tax, again deferred tax, just ignore as of now. A very tricky concept. Deferred is like in the near future these tax amounts will be adjusted, but it's a very tricky concept, just forget it. Taxes, current tax is what they are paying, na, majorly. Okay, then finally what will you have? Profit or loss for the period. So in simple words, this is like PBT, total tax, and PAT. Okay, so how much is PAT? 6677 is your PAT. Let us try to check somewhere. Is it close in our? Yes. See this? How is it presented in our P&L? Profit. See, profit before tax. This is your tax expense, and this is your profit after tax. Now sounds familiar? Yes. Profit after tax is how much? If you can just write this in rough somewhere. In rough, 6677.70. What is this? PAT. Correct. I have to divide this with what? My God. Now, where do I find out total number of shares? So for that, very good. I have to go to shareholding pattern. You remember this tab? Shareholding pattern we have discussed. In shareholding pattern, now if you see here, the headers, which is this one, total number of shares. अब ये अपने को नीचे नीचे, this one we have to, I hope you are with me, the second big column. This is the total number of shares. My God, how much is this? 13 crores, is it? 13 crore 80 lakhs 39, no, 138 crores, 138 crores. So we'll take this. Please understand, this earning 6677 was also rupees in crores. So now what we can do is 138.04 crores. We'll round it off. So just take this 138.04. Now let us try to get this. Roughly उसके आसपास तो आना चाहिए. Tell me how much was the amount? 6677 point कुछ था या नहीं? Divide 138.04. 48.37. And how much had we got there? 57? 47. So that 1 rupee, because we are rounding off also, na? And rounding off, crores ka rounding off chal raha hai. So in rupees, somewhere it has to be a 1 rupee, 2 rupee plus or minus. So I'll go back. That is earning per share. Apna 48 aaya by calculation, and here you can see on the screen, because we, as I said, it was just a basic round offs. Exactly, na? So इसीलिए तो थोड़ा फर्क आने वाला है. So now at least we are coming close to that, na? But at least. So what is my EPS? So consolidated. See here also standalone, consolidated, and now you know these points. So what were we checking right now? Standalone. Is this correct? Roughly 48. अपना roughly उतना आ गया. So now you should at least be able to understand कहाँ से आया ये EPS. Your calculation should at least go close to that. Might not be perfect to the decimals because we are ignoring certain decimals and all that. Okay, so we understood what is what is earning per share. Now what is important? We are calculating PE, price divided by earning. Okay. So if my PE is coming to 29.5, let me just check again. ये price is roughly around 1403. Okay, roughly 1403 divided by EPS 47.59. Correct, na? Are you understanding or not? How PE is calculated? Market price divided by earning per share. See, I'll do it on the screen for you. 1 minute. Tell me how much is the market price? 1403. Ignore the decimals as of now. Divided by, tell me how much was the EPS? 47.59. It's coming to roughly 29.48. And let us check यहाँ पे कितना है? Very close. Correct? So that is how we calculate a PE ratio. Have you understood? PE ratio, how to calculate? Very important is the analysis, na? Kai 29.50. That is important. Now, price that I am paying per share to get an earning per share is a PE ratio. 1 minute. Understand one more time. In simple words, to get an earning of 47.59 per share, मुझे इतना पैसा मिलने के लिए, एक शेयर के पीछे मुझे इतना पैसा मिलने के लिए मैं कितना पे कर रही हूं? आई एम रेडी टू पे 1400 रुपया. So one more time, I am ready to invest 1400. I'm rounding off to earn how much? 47.59 per share. In simple words, can I say PE is giving me how much multiplier I am ready to pay to receive an earning? Can I say I am paying 29.5 times the current earnings? Correct? So to earn 47.59, I am ready to pay 29.5 times to L&T, but I want the share. Is this okay? Simple now? Yes. A very basic example. If I say that the market price per share, with 100 I'll take. Market price per share is 100 and its EPS is 40. EPS is 40. Quickly tell me how much is PE ratio? Everyone, PE ratio is 2.5, na? How 2.5? What is the ratio? Market price divided by earning per share. That will come to 2.5. What is the meaning of 2.5? मुझे 40 रुपए का अर्निंग मिलने के लिए मैं 2.5 गुना पे करने के लिए रेडी हूं. मराठी ट्रान्सलेशन, अडीच पट द्यायला तयार आहे मी. And finally in English, I'm ready to pay 2.5 times to earn 40 rupees income. I want 40 rupees. तुमको कितना चाहिए बोलो? I'm ready to pay 2.5 times. So higher the PE ratio, can I say I'm shelling out more money, I'm paying more money to get that earning. Higher the P, who can tell me? Is the stock going more and more expensive if the P is going up and up? Yes. The stock is becoming more and more expensive if the P is going more and more up. And lesser the P ratio, the stock is cheaper. The first interpretation. Higher the P, costlier is the stock. Lower the P, cheaper is the stock, because I'm paying less to earn that much earning if the P is lower, and I'm paying more if that P is higher. Simple. I'll dictate everything, but first pay attention. That is the first interpretation of P. But then you would ask me, kitna hona chahiye? Should it be 10, 20, 30? Is there any formula? Is there any limit? Answer is no. Oh no, there's no limit. Then how can we check? So I'll tell you a very simple rule that I use. Now, PE of L&T is 29.5. I don't know whether 29.5 is costly or cheaper. But then what could be a simple logic? I'll check that L&T is into infra. So let me check who all are its peers. You understand a peer? Peer is a competitor. So now if we check who all are the peers. So I'll check Larsen ka peer is Adani Ports, Siemens, ABB, BHEL, Thermax, NBCC, all are its peers. Okay, then I may check how much is Larsen's PE versus how much is BHEL's PE. Then I can check how much is Larsen's PE, how much is Siemens PE, and then compare with everything. No? Itna karte baithenge? We'll compare each and every. No. So it would be great that if I get an average PE of all these, average PE of all the competitors, correct na? This average PE of all the competitors, can I say it's like an industry PE? Which industry? This L&T ka jo industry hai, infrastructure. So if you see here, L&T, whenever you type L&T, you will also find the sector. Sector is what? Infrastructure. And that is how for every company you will find a sector allocation. So whenever we tapped on peers right now, it will show only which companies? Only which are into infrastructure. So as I told you, first I'll compare L&T with BHEL, then I'll compare L&T with Siemens, I'll compare L&T with Adani Ports. Itna kaun karte baithega? Better way would be if I compare L&T with an industry average. Can I find this ready-made? And answer is yes. Industry PE. Life is made so easy. But this is useless information if I don't know the meaning. Now it makes very big sense to you. What is industry PE now? Can I say all these peers, unka ek average? That is the industry PE. These are a blessing for us, all these websites. Really, na? Otherwise, how on earth would I have done all this analysis? Earlier, people might be doing that. So you can imagine when Warren Buffett started investing, he could have done all these things. But he would have invested so much time in this. I'm not saying he would have wasted so much time in this. Yes, invested so much time in this. But now if majority of us are doing some other thing as our core profession, like my core profession is teaching. I can't sit in front of the stock market screen from 9:15 in the morning till 3:30 every day. I do have lectures. When would I do this analysis? At night maybe, when I have some free time. And then during the day, whenever I find, okay, this is the right price, I'll just put a buy order. So for these websites, they're making our life so easy. Now who can tell me whether this PE, now do you think that L&T share is expensive or a little bit less expensive? Little less expensive. Why? On an average, the industry PE is 29. In simple words, on an average, for any infrastructure company, people are ready to pay 29 times of the earnings. But for L&T right now, we are paying only 22 times of the earnings. Correct? Are you understanding this? So this is cheaper stock. This is standalone. Achha, oh, sorry. This is consolidated, is it? Oh, now it is same. So कैसा interpretation change हो गया? For standalone, it is 29 and industry PE is also 29. We'll just check for BHEL because that was also one of the peer, na? So in simple words, for this, it's like at par. Maybe cheap, maybe expensive. For that, then we'll have to compute what could happen after 1 year. Okay, what could happen after 1 year? There are certain valuation models wherein we check what is the current EBIT, operating profit. What is the current operating profit? What could be the operating profit or EBITDA? Now everyone knows these terms. What is the current EBITDA? What would be the future EBITDA? We calculate. And then we calculate a rough price. Ideally, what should be the price after 1 year? You want to learn one valuation model? There could be on an average 20 valuation models, 25 as we discussed yesterday. Over analysis is paralysis. So I can teach you all 25 valuation models also, but what are you going to do with that? Okay, anyways we have 8 parameters first of all, plus we are going to do some economy analysis, some industry analysis, management analysis, and plus if you start doing valuation models, you will go mad. Full time yahi karte baitho. Okay, absolutely. It happens na. You feel, you have seen that movie na, Tare Zameen Par. In that, at one point of time, all the figures and digits from his notebook start dancing in front of his eyes. That is what will happen with you all also. Okay, so don't do over analysis, right? But for sure, if you are interested, I can teach you one valuation model to calculate what could be the expected price after 1 year. Okay, please understand, all these valuation models are based on expected earnings. Expectation is wrong, your prediction is wrong, you are down and dusted. Okay, so take that as one of the parameters. Again, same thing we are repeating time and over again. Okay, so if I were to check for, I'll tell you one which I use oftenly, the earning value model. I'll discuss that later. BHEL. Standalone. इसका इंडस्ट्री पी अलग क्यों दिखाई दे रहा है? माय गॉड. हाँ, क्या क्या है? इंफ्रा ओनली ना? Oh, sorry. Which one was that? There was one more, na? GMR. Ideally, this is also somewhere related to infrastructure. Huh? अब इंडस्ट्री भी कितना था? 29 point something ना? माइनस में गया होगा ये मे बी. नहीं, but industry P is different again, na? So maybe they are giving a weightage because L&T and GMR may not be directly comparable. So maybe the base could be different for the industry P. So for this, if I check peers, it might not be the exact same list. This is possible. And that is why the industry P could be a little bit different. Larsen is there. See, this exact list might not be the same for L&T, huh? Exactly. So that's what I'm saying, na? That L&T is not only in a specific category. L&T has loads and loads of different businesses. So maybe while computing the industry P for L&T, they might have taken a little bit portion of construction. They might have taken a little bit portion of infra. In fact, IT also they have one more L&T IT. Some weightage they might have given in a separate sense. Okay, but in general, if you check now for GMR Infra, PE, what do we have to compare basically? इसके तो है ही नहीं PE. But what do we check? We compare what versus what? The company PE versus the industry PE is what we have to check. So for example, for BHEL, PE is 18 and the industry PE is 15. Okay, can I say it's a little bit overvalued? Yes. I had just checked this almost a year ago. I'm not sure. Let me just try to track this. This was really very expensive. Asian Paints. We have not discussed about this company in the entire lecture series till date. $63 is the PE and the industry PE is 59. Still it is expensive as compared to the industry valuations. Okay. So have you understood what is Demand नहीं बोल सकते आप. So now I'm going to tell you the other interpretation. That's what I said. That's how I started PE, na? It can be treated in both ways. Okay, this is a basic thumb rule. But then also check the other parameters also. If all other 8 parameters, balance all parameters are showing thumbs up, but this P is very high, assume. See, we have 8 parameters. Out of 8, 7 are giving a thumbs up and P is giving thumbs down. Why? Because their individual P is much higher than the industry P. Now let us understand what could be the meaning. Can I say it is definitely expensive as compared to the industry? Yes. Now the question is, why is it expensive? It might be performing very well. Why are you ready to pay iPhone more as compared to any other mobile? You will pay 70,000 for an iPhone, but you will pay only 50,000 for a very similar phone which has all the features, but you are ready to pay maximum 50,000 for other phone. You will say, iPhone. You ask that person buying an iPhone, क्या है इसमें नया? It is iPhone. About what features are? iPhone, boss. He'll not know any features of that also. But just because it's an iPhone, he knows that the quality is good. He can't even define quality maybe. Someone has told him that security is good. And that is why it is good. Finish. End of the story. AirPods. You might have seen the AirPods, the latest AirPods. It's costing 18,000 rupees. When I got the AirPods, my student showed me one normal earphone. Madam, I got this at 20 rupees. Okay, he said, you have wasted a lot of money. Okay, but then why was I ready to pay 18,000? Just because I have excess money, that is why I didn't get that. Because I know, see, I love music. And the earphones that I had originally, the quality of speakers, the quality of music which is played is way too better than any other normal earphone. The bass that you can hear, bass is like the doop, 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 that sound, the bass sound. That is very clear. The finer background sounds are so clear in those AirPods. You have so many features. I just double tap, Siri opens. I double tap on the left AirPod, music plays. And I can customize that. What is on single tap? What is on double tap? Then my friend said that if one of the AirPods falls off, then what? Quite possible. No? It doesn't have strings attached. So then I just tried to remove one. Music automatically stopped. Music was playing in my ears. One AirPod down and the music stops. That's a clear understanding that one piece is missing. This is the quality that they are offering. This is the crisp and the feel, the experience that you are giving to your customer. And then I'm ready to pay higher price also. So just because P of Apple is high, it does not mean that it is expensive, don't buy. It means that maybe it is really worth it and people are ready to pay higher price for that. That is the second interpretation. So generally what I do is PE, out of the 8 pointer, I keep PE ekdam at the end. Why? Let us understand. If all 7 parameters are giving a thumbs up and PE is thumbs down, it means that it is demanding higher valuation because it deserves a higher valuation. Then I'll still go ahead with that company. But if out of 7, 4 parameters are giving me thumbs down, and P is also undervalued, so P is also lesser than the industry average, then what can I say? Out of 7, 4 parameters are bad. Maybe the company is not performing that well, and that is why it is not getting the premium valuations. Correct? So P, same thing. Comparing company's PE with industry PE, it has two meanings. So what is the general meaning? Tell me. Industry PE is higher, company PE is lower. Cheaper. Routine scenario, we should buy or sell. Routine scenario, we should buy. But also, before buying, understand why is it cheaper. Possibility number 1, it could be cheaper because all other financial ratios are bad. That is why it's cheaper. Company बेकार है ना, इसीलिए PE कम है. Then should I buy? No. If other financial ratios are good, still I'm getting it at a lower value. Then this is lucrative. In near future, it will increase. It will justify its valuations. Then I should buy. So always P to be analyzed at the end. Have you understood the exact interpretation of P? Otherwise, P is very less understood. Shall we write this down, whatever I told right now? So first, have you written how to calculate? Yes. Have you written the formula? Yes. Now the last point is how to analyze. Last point in P, how to analyze P. Yes, price to earning. PE का full form क्या है? Price to earning. हाँ. So see, price is price per share only, na? Price to earning, price per share divided by E, earning per share. Chalo, right. An investor should always compare. I'm dictating, just write down quickly. An investor should always compare the company's PE, with industry PE. Company's PE with industry PE. Full stop. If company's PE is less than industry PE, then what? Buy or sell? Then we should buy or then we should sell? Ideally, we should buy. Then ideally, it's a buy call, or we should buy. Why we should buy? Because ideally it is cheaper. Have you written this word? It is cheaper or no? No. We have not written right now, na? So write down. This is because we are getting the share. We are getting the share at a cheaper price, or at a cheaper valuation is a better word. We are getting the share at a cheaper valuation as compared to the industry average. As compared to the industry average. Is this okay? Vice versa लिखने की जरूरत नहीं है ना? Vice versa means what? Tell me orally. If the company P is higher than the industry P, then it is ideally expensive. So ideally we should not buy. No need to write down. Exactly opposite position. But what could be a second interpretation of this? What could be a second interpretation? We also have to understand why is it having a lower why is it having a lower PE? This could be possible if other ratios are not good. Okay. In this case, we should be very cautious while buying on PE note. So we'll just write this down. An investor must also understand. An investor must also understand the reason behind cheaper valuations. Behind cheaper valuations. Full stop. If all other ratios are showing a negative picture, if all other ratios are showing a negative picture, comma, it means that what does it mean? Tell me. It means that company is deserving a good valuation or company is not deserving a good valuation. Company is not deserving a good valuation. And thus it is cheap. And thus it is cheap. And what will be our final note? Okay, so thus it, and that is why we could stay away from this company. That is okay. But what is the most important point? That is why, see, P we interpreted in two exactly opposite ways, na? एक तो हमने क्या बोला? It is lower than industry P. Wow, good, buy it. And second time what we are saying, or it is lower than industry P. Oh, it might not be getting good valuations. It might not be performing well. Don't buy it. We have given exactly opposite interpretations. Then how do we decide whether buy or sell? Buy or stay away? All parameters. So that is why we have to check this as the last parameter. So that is what I done as a final concluding remark. PE should always be checked towards the end of the entire analysis. PE should always be checked towards the end of the entire analysis. Is this okay? Yes. Correct. So that's what I told you. Out of our 8 factors, if 7 are good and P is showing bad, why it is very expensive? Then what does it mean? It is demanding a premium valuation because it's a good company. And then still we should go ahead and buy. And if in this case P is less, it's like sone pe suhaga. Huh? No. He's saying out of 8, 7 are showing good. P is also less. Can't get better. Icing on the cake. Escorts kaise? You've checked escorts? Actually, what you can do, what you all can do now, out of 8, we have checked 7 parameters now. Are you going to do this as a homework? See, escorts. Huh? Check all these parameters. Now, shall I make your life easy? Say yes, no? So what you can do is go to financials. In financials, see our basic, oh wow, reserves. The reserves is number 1, it's continuously increasing. And its capital is almost steady for the past 3 years. यहाँ पे थोड़ा सा shares issue किया होगा. Please tell me a correct answer. No? We have discussed this so many times. Just because it changed from 119 to 122. Is it a good sign, bad sign, or there's no analysis? There's no analysis as such. No major analysis. They just have raised a little bit more money for some reason, for some funding purpose. But reserves is continuously increasing is a good sign. Then we talked about debt to equity. Long-term debt is how much? 0.15. And how much are the shareholders funds? 3022. My God, it's almost a debt-free company. Now to make your life easy, here we have balance sheet. Here we have. But why did I show this towards the end? Because then you would not have paid attention to my calculations, no? And plus, you should also cross-check once or twice, right? You have so many ratios put up here. चाहिए उतने. Okay. So what we were checking were see ROCE, return on capital employed. It's continuously increasing. 3, 4, 14, 20, 23. Fantastic. ROC is increasing. Then one was our current ratio. See, current ratio. See, ideally it should be 2:1, but what I said, anything above 1:1 is not that bad. What is the worst scenario? Stay away scenario कौन सा है? ये वाला stay away scenario था, but it's still it's a very borderline scenario, but still. See, here it has got at 1. Exact break even. It's increasing and it's increasing. Okay. So current ratio is also good. Inventory turnover ratio थोड़ा सा slip हो गया है. I'll tell you quickly what is an inventory turnover ratio. See, inventory turnover ratio 9 का 8, 8 का 9, a little bit slip, a slip. Inventory turnover ratio basically tells us how many times the company was able to turn over its inventory. Manufactured 100, sold 100, again manufactured 100, sold 100, manufactured 100, sold 100. ये कितनी बार हुआ एक साल में? ये कितनी बार हुआ साल में? पहले 9.23 टाइम्स हो गया था, अब 7.54 टाइम्स हुआ. Okay, so were they able to roll out their inventory a little bit less number of times? So can I say it was a little bit slow movement of inventory this year? Inventory का movement slow हो गया. Okay, this is not a big problem if their sales numbers are not bad. So what will we immediately check? Their sale numbers 19 versus 18. Shall I immediately check it for you? Hmm? 4974 का हो गया 6116. So again inventory turnover, then I'm not really bothered about that. We'll also check what has happened with the inventory, how much inventory is left with them. Inventory ka? That's what is a slow moving na in that case. See, we can see all this analysis is so amazing. See, in the previous year they had 541 crore ka inventory. Inventory मतलब क्या है? That it is there in the warehouse. They have manufactured and it's there with us. We were not able to sell it. Okay. Acha, will some company keep some inventory with them? It will not be like बनाओ बेचो. It's not like FMCG product. खाने का item नहीं कि आज बनाओ आज खा जाओ. Okay, for them they will keep some inventory with them. But what has happened? See, on an average, if you check 400s, this is also close to 400. This is also close to 400, jumping to 541 and jumping to 821. So if we can quickly calculate the percentage increase in inventory, how will we calculate percentage increase in inventory? 821.93 minus what? 541.06 is equal divided by 541.06. It's like 51% increase. इतना कैसे हो सकता है? Something has gone wrong. 0.93 minus 541.06 divided by 541.06%. 52% increase in inventory. Now what we can check? How much turnover has increased? Percentage. See, if my inventory also has gone up by 51%, and my turnover has also, the increase in turnover percentage, that has also gone up by roughly 51%, then it means that maybe demand for my product increased, and that is why I'm stocking up higher. Getting my logic? If the demand for my product is increasing, ideally I will stock up higher. Otherwise it will be a stock out situation. Stock out situation बहुत बेकार है. What is stock out situation? Customer is there to buy my product and I'm saying it's not ready, come after 2 days. It's bad position. Okay, so we'll also check quickly how much is there increase in percentage increase in sale. Okay, so now how will we check it? 6116.76 minus, tell me, 4974.15 divided by 49, array yaar, it was 4974, 6116.76 minus 4974.15 divided by 4974.15%. Sales has gone up by 23%. Getting it? Sales has gone up by 23%. I'll put it down for you on the screen so that you can visualize. Sales has gone up by 23%, but inventory has gone up by 51%. It means that this year if they don't manufacture anything, still they'll be able to sell. It's like 2 years inventory they are keeping right now. And this could be a sign that they were not able to sell that much as they expected. Correct, na? See, why would they stock up higher? Without any reason, do you think? No. They expected a specific sale number, that is why they stocked up higher. But maybe the sales expectation did not meet their expectation. So the actual sales, sorry, did not meet their expectation. That is why the inventory was more at their end. So this is a 1 thumbs down, inventory turnover. Okay, only one. Let's check others also. Then, no, I'll just take out that 8-pointer that I discussed. Acha, we checked current ratio also, no? It was above 1. We checked debt to equity, we checked return on capital employed, which free cash flows. Acha, free cash flows for that. I'm not sure if here I can get it immediately or not. Eh? No. Instead of free cash flows, right now, just as a shortcut, we'll just check the operating revenues at least. Cash flow from operations. Why is it showing so much old data here? Better way, will quickly download a what? I'll just check. Maybe on screener, it will show me the free cash flow right away. I've signed in already. Okay, we'll do one thing. We had escorts, na? Wait. Escorts. Enter. Cash flow. Danger. Cash flow from operating activities is itself minus. Maybe it is because of inventory. Lot of fund is locked in inventory. The only reason why operating cash flows might be negative. So 2 down. One is a free cash flow, तो आगे की बात हो गई ना? It's operating minus your fixed assets का. See how our theories are working. Okay, so free cash flow के लिए it's a minus again. Fixed asset में stock नहीं आएगा. नहीं. That is like a current asset. Why current asset? Why inventory is a current asset? Why? Because I feel that within 1 year it will get converted into a cash and cash equivalent. Yes, good. Right. So we talked about this. Then shareholding pattern, pledge shares. For that we can check easily on Money Control also. So these two websites are like my always on my list. Money Control and Screener.in. There'll be many websites. I check these two. Okay, shareholding. And in shareholding, we have this last one, pledged. No, no pledge shares. So good. PE. Now that is the only point which is pending for escorts. But ideally, if you check this, out of first 7, we got 5 as a thumbs up. Correct, na? Out of 7, we got 5 parameters. Which 5 parameters? See, current ratio was good, debt to equity ratio was good, return on capital employed was good, free cash flows was a problem, shareholding pattern no problem, inventory turnover was a problem, reserves and surplus is good. And in simple words, there is just one problem of that inventory lock-in. Inventory ज़्यादा पड़ा है, इसके लिए that's a problem for them. So that's what we are saying. Na? They might have thought that the demand would rise higher, and that was the reason why they might have stocked up more. A little bit of miscalculation maybe. Forward P is a different calculation again. Whatever we are checking is the current P. Forward P we have not calculated. So if they feel that their demand might go up in the future, which has gone up by 25%. If you see, sales has increased by 25%. But maybe their expectation was 50%. That is why they stocked up more maybe. Okay. Achha, by the way, PE is 12 and industry P is 15. Ideally, it's a good buy. It's only one negative parameter for inventory. Inventory can now at least we have screened it out that okay, all other parameters are good. It's only inventory is the problem. Then we'll have to go into management analysis now and the industry analysis and the economy. But see, with all these parameters, see, I just put a screen. Sort out to kar diya na. So out of 100 company analysis, at least I've boiled down to 10. And now these 10 is what I have to analyze now. Simple. Ideally, I go ahead with at least 5 to 6 should be on a positive side. See, 4 is a very cut-to-cut scenario. 5 or 6 at least should be on a positive side. Then I would think about doing an industry analysis, management analysis and all that. Iske baad ka step is ideally, see, once we have done all these ratios, next step is that valuation. What I feel might happen in the near future. If the current growth continues, then I calculate that ideally after 1 year, like she's talking about forward P, I'll calculate after 1 year, ideally what should be the price. Okay, okay. So I'll tell you one more also, sir. It's showing auto and tractors. Huh. 1 minute, 1 minute. I'll show you on screeners one more amazing thing. Huh? Escorts. See, the moment I type here, I get a brief 3 to 4 liner on exactly what the company does. Such a fantastic thing again. See, Escorts is engaged in the business of manufacturing of agricultural tractors, engines for agricultural tractors, construction, earth moving, material handling equipment, round and flat tubes, heating elements, double acting बाप रे मुझे कुछ समझ में नहीं आता है. अच्छा, for railway coaches, center buffer couplers, ये भी मुझे नहीं पता है. Automobile shock absorbers, telescopic front fork. Railways का काफी कुछ है. It also trades in oils and lubricants, tractor compressor. Acha. So right now, if infrastructure is one of the key elements of Modi Sarkar, then this can work up well. Even if you see, don't rely on this, but It also shows pros and cons. Exactly. So if the main revenue is coming from tractors, or is the main revenue coming from, aha. So we'll have to also check that. Pros, they are saying it's a virtually debt-free company, and cons, they are saying promoter stake has decreased. It's a big factor, alarming scenario. So we have to check why the promoter stake has decreased. Why have they sold it? When have they sold it? How much they have sold? Hmm. Hmm. Exactly. So we'll have to check whether ये originally family run business है, या is it a professionally run business or what? Correct, 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 correct. So if you remember that in some year in between, they had the share capital had gone up. So maybe some they might have sold their own shares, some they might have generated and sold. That is possible. We need to check when did this happen, and then the best thing is Google. When this happened, we'll first try to check when the promoter stake has gone down through Moneycontrol, and then in news you can get to know why, what happened, why have they sold the stake. Yes, we'll have to check what happened exactly, then we decide. And the company has a lower return on equity of 13.77% for last 3 years. I don't think this is a con at all. See, I'll tell you, they will give their own pros and cons. We have to analyze whether this is really a con or not. I don't think that a return on equity of 13% is low. According to me, it is not a low return on equity. If you're expecting 25-30%, then it's okay. But I used my thumb rule of more than 10%. So that's what I said, that don't directly jump onto conclusions. Oh, 2 cons and 1 pro. Don't jump to such conclusions. Analyze whether what they are saying is fair enough or not. One more very amazing thing which you can see here is quarterly results, which very few websites will give you. Quarter on quarter reporting. So if you know this, quarter wise reporting means what? April ended, June ended. Oh, what April ended? Sorry, June ended, September ended, December ended, and March ended. 4 quarters we have, na? Correct? So all these 4 quarters, you can directly see how their sale is performing. And continuously almost going up, barring this quarter. The immediate last quarter also, the sale has dropped a little bit. Correct, na? From 1655 in, this is consolidated again. No, this is standalone only. From 1655 it has gone down to 1632. Not a major drop. Here you can see a major increase also. One more thing that you can always check is March to March. So previous year's March quarter was 1436. Uske previous ka March quarter was 1022. And this year's March is 1632. So effectively March quarter is going up. If it is more into even tractors and all that, then vehicles is again a little bit cyclical. Which quarter will have more demand, which quarter will have a lesser demand, something like that. But this will give you fantastic analysis. So I hope you have written down these 2 websites. One, Moneycontrol, you have already written, but I hope you have also written screener.in. Okay. So tomorrow what we'll do is, tomorrow we'll write down about that inventory turnover ratio first. I'll teach one valuation model, and we'll do a lot of analysis on screener tomorrow. So what you can do is, as a homework, see, we did for this Scots right now. Search some company which you want us all to analyze in the class. So we'll take, no, I can't take everyone's companies, but at least we'll try to analyze 5 companies tomorrow in the class. See, when we do an analysis together, then you will get a better confidence. So tomorrow inventory turnover ratio, then one valuation model, and at least 5 companies on screener is what we'll plan for tomorrow. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow. We have not written current ratio is current asset divided by current liability. Huh? Book value भी नहीं बताया. Book value we'll have to take it. Intrinsic value is a big thing. So actually intrinsic value is used for, book value is not necessarily equal to intrinsic value. Intrinsic value is what should be the value of the share, is what we can calculate by various valuation models. Intrinsic value is what is the true value hidden in the company, fair value. So and that's what I said, to calculate intrinsic value, 20, 25, 30 models you will have. I'll teach you one model which I generally use, earning the enterprise value model. Okay, so with that your intrinsic value will be clear. Just go back to your current ratio. He's saying that, what 2 points we have written for current ratio? Hmm. What is that ratio? Is it tells about the liquidity, na? Current ratio tells us about the liquidity. And one more line you can add up for current ratio, higher the better. If you have a current ratio is high, it's always better, na? But then if you remember why current ratio is high, also you have to check. Like for current assets upon current life, current assets are more. See, if I'm saying current ratio is more, then current assets ideally would be more. Then inventory is a part of current assets. Same example. If inventory is high and that is why current ratio is high, is again dangerous. So a thumb rule can be higher the better, but you have to understand why is it higher also. If your current investments are high and that is why current ratio is higher, then good. So sentence, a thumb rule is what? Higher current ratio is a better sign, but you also have to understand why is the current ratio higher. If it is higher because of higher inventory, then it's not that good. If it is high because current investments are high, then it's good, no problem. Okay, but otherwise this much dictation is enough for current ratio. Okay, so we'll stop for the day. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.